Harold adjusted his worn fedora and took a deep breath, the familiar scent of blooming magnolias filling his lungs as he approached Miller Park. It had been 50 years since he first stepped onto these grounds, the echoes of laughter and the vibrant energy of the 1970s still etched in his memory. The park, with its vintage carousel and the old oak tree by the pond, had been the backdrop to a pivotal moment in his life. As he walked down the gravel path, memories flooded back to that sunny afternoon in June. The city was bustling, the air alive with the sounds of classic rock and the chatter of families enjoying a summer day. Harold remembered the excitement of meeting Eleanor, a spirited young woman with eyes full of dreams and a smile that could light up the darkest of days. They had both reached for the same bouquet of daisies at the park's annual spring fair, sparking a conversation that would change their lives forever. Harold spotted the bench they had sat on, now weathered by time but still standing strong beneath the sprawling branches of the oak tree. He could almost see Eleanor there, her laughter mingling with the melodies of a distant accordion player. The simplicity of those moments, the shared ice cream cones, the late afternoon walks by the pond, the handwritten notes left in his coat pocket, was a stark contrast to the fast-paced world he navigated decades later. Sitting down, Harold closed his eyes, letting the memories wash over him. He thought about the challenges they faced together, the economic struggles of the 80s, the changing landscapes of their neighborhood, and the enduring love that held them steady through it all. Revisiting the park was more than a trip down memory lane. It was a tribute to a love story that had weathered time and remained as vibrant as the day it began. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the park, Harold felt a sense of peace. The old carousel started to play a familiar tune, and he smiled, knowing that some places and some loves are timeless. Harold remained seated, the soft twilight enveloping him in a gentle embrace. The melody from the carousel wove seamlessly with the rustling leaves, creating a symphony of nostalgia. He reached into his coat pocket, fingers brushing against the worn edges of a faded photograph he had kept all these years. It was a picture of him and Eleanor, arms entwined on that very bench, smiles wide and eyes sparkling with unspoken promises. A gentle breeze stirred, and Harold opened his eyes to see a young couple approaching the bench. They laughed as they passed the carousel, their joy reminiscent of his and Eleanor's youthful exuberance. Harold's heart swelled with bittersweet emotions, the passage of time marking both separation and enduring love. From the shadows emerged a figure familiar, yet transformed by time. Eleanor, her hair now touched with silver, approached slowly, each step deliberate. Her presence brought a warmth that defied the years, and as she drew near, Harold felt the old sparks reignite. Their eyes met, and without words, the decades of shared memories flowed between them. "Harold," she whispered, her voice steady yet softened by age. He reached out, taking her hand in his, the connection instantaneous and deep. They sat together, silence wrapping around them comfortably, broken only by the distant sounds of the park coming to life for the evening crowd. Eleanor spoke of the years apart, the challenges they both faced, and the resilience that kept their love alive despite the distance. As they shared their stories, Harold realized that Miller Park had not only been the setting of their beginnings, but also the sanctuary where their spirits could reunite. The park had evolved, much like their lives, yet its essence remained unchanged, a testament to the enduring nature of true love. The moon rose, casting a silvery glow over the pond, reflecting their intertwined lives. Harold and Eleanor stayed until the last light faded, cherishing the rekindled bond that time had only strengthened. As they parted that evening, Harold felt a renewed sense of purpose, inspired by the love that had withstood the tests of time and distance. Walking away from the bench, Harold glanced back one final time. The oak tree stood tall, its branches reaching out as if embracing the memories beneath. He knew that no matter where life took him, the love he and Eleanor shared would always find its way back to this timeless place, forever echoing the melodies of their hearts. As Harold walked away, the weight of the evening settled around him, like the soft mist rising from the pond. The encounter with Eleanor had stirred memories he had carefully tucked away, each one a fragment of a life once shared and now lived apart. He pondered the roads not taken, the dreams that had diverged, and the silent sacrifices made in the name of circumstance and duty. The path ahead lay dimly lit, the park's lanterns casting long shadows that danced alongside his thoughts. Harold felt a stirring of something he hadn't felt in years, a rekindled hope intertwined with a poignant sense of loss. He realized that the essence of his connection with Eleanor was not diminished by time or distance. Rather, it had evolved, gaining depth through the trials they had endured individually. As he walked, memories surfaced with vivid clarity. The nights they had spent under the stars, planning a future filled with promise. The challenges that had tested their bond, pulling them apart only to draw them closer again in unexpected ways. Each memory was a testament to the resilience of their love, a beacon guiding him through the uncertainties of his present. Approaching the park's edge, Harold paused to watch the young couple disappear into the evening's embrace. Their laughter echoed the joy he once knew, reminding him that love, in its purest form, is timeless and ever-renewing. He felt a surge of determination, understanding that the love he and Eleanor shared was not confined to the past, but had the power to influence his future. A sudden rustle in the trees broke his reverie. He turned to see Eleanor standing at the edge of the park, her figure silhouetted against the moonlit sky. This time, there was no hesitation, no unspoken words left hanging in the air. With purposeful strides, she approached him, the connection between them electrifying the night. "Harold," she called softly, her eyes reflecting the same depth of emotion he felt. "Perhaps it's time we create new memories together." In that moment, under the canopy of the oak tree that had witnessed their journey, Harold understood that their story was far from over. It was a new chapter, written not by the hands of fate, but by their own will to reconnect and embrace the love that endured against all odds. As they stood side by side, the park around them seemed to pulse with life, a silent witness to the rekindling of two souls destined to find their way back to each other. Eleanor took a deep breath, the cool night air filling her lungs as she stepped closer to Harold. The familiar scent of his cologne mingled with the earthy aroma of the park, grounding her in the moment. "Harold, I've thought about you often," she began, her voice steady yet tender. "All these years, I wondered if we ever would find our way back." He reached out, gently taking her hand in his. The touch was electric, sparking memories and emotions that words alone couldn't capture. "I never stopped believing," Harold replied, his eyes meeting hers with unwavering sincerity. "Life took us on different paths, but my feelings for you remained constant." They continued to walk, the park around them fading into the background as their conversation deepened. Eleanor shared stories of her years away, the challenges she faced, and the moments that kept her heart tethered to their shared past. Harold listened intently, revealing his own journey, the regrets he carried, and the lessons he had learned. As they approached the old oak tree, the very witness to their first promises, Harold paused and turned to Eleanor. "Do you think it's possible to start anew? To build something together from where we left off?" Eleanor smiled, a tear glistening in her eye. "I believe our love is strong enough to overcome whatever obstacles lie ahead. Let's not let another chapter pass us by." Under the canopy of the oak, they embraced, the night wrapping around them like a blanket of hope and renewal. The lanterns overhead cast a warm glow, illuminating their faces as they stood united once more. In that moment, Harold and Eleanor realized that their reunion was not just a rekindling of old flames, but the beginning of a renewed commitment. Their love, tested by time and distance, had emerged resilient and profound, ready to face the future together. As they walked away from the oak tree, hand in hand, the park seemed to celebrate their reunion, the sounds of nature harmonizing with their newfound resolve. The journey ahead was uncertain, but with their hearts aligned, Harold and Eleanor felt prepared to navigate whatever came their way. Their story, enriched by the trials they had endured, stood as a testament to the enduring power of love. It was a reminder that true connections never truly fade but evolve, finding strength in the shared memories and the hope for what